Hi, I'm Teddy on my own channel, Majority, and I'm joined by Alex of Turbo Zone. Hey, Alex.
What's up, homies? It's me, Turbo. That's my catchphrase. That's what I always say. Turbo. It's not what I always say.
Turbo homies.
Turbo.
The Turbo homies. Welcome back. We know we
what's
got a
up,
lot
geeks
of
and
Throwdown
gamers?
fans.
That's what I usually say.
What do you say?
Yeah, I said what's up, geeks and gamers, because that's what I usually say. Is
Oh.
hey, geeks and gamers.
I would like you to like invent some new phraseology because I talked over you, so I thought like you could make up some like hey, sex cats and kittens.
Sex cats and kittens. Well, that's where Maps and Mittens came from, so I can't use that.
It's close. Yeah. Well, anyways.
What's up, Throwdown connoisseurs?
Yeah. You know how there's like a WWE? This is the WWT. The Worldwide Throwdown. And we're here to throw down not just anything, but games from the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection for the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox.
I never grab it. I never remember to grab it. It's on the shelf.
I'm in another room. I have limited options. I'm on battery power today. So we're going either till the battery dies or we're done. So, and I assume we're going to have a shorter episode today anyway. Be sure to subscribe if you like the Genesis, if you like the Throwdowns, if you like the content, if you like the man, Alex. Subscribe to him.
I do have this series on my homepage of my channel. It's got its own section.
It's nice. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Good looking playlist. Yeah. He's also got Atari content coming out soon.
I do. Atari Week, starting on the 19th.
No other person in our community does Atari content. So there you go.
I'm the one.
The lone. Amazing. Well, so for Turbo Throwdown, at the end of this episode, we'll announce the next episode. Be sure to let us know which entry you think wins. We may or may not need your vote, but it's always nice to read your perspectives. We got a lot of good ones last time in the Sonic 3D Blast Sonic Spinball video. I don't know if you have it pulled up, but from the ones I was reading, there was a lot of positivity from Sonic 3D Blast.
Yeah, I don't have it brought up because I honestly forgot we do that. But whoops. But yeah, I remember seeing a lot of people trashing Spinball, and we're going more towards 3D Blast, if anything.
One of my favorites is Spencer saying he has a soft spot for Sonic 3D Blast for renting it back in the day. I don't have the comment pulled up, but I remember reading that. Very rare to see Spencer throwing some positive words out there for either the Hedgehog or the Sega. So good on you, Spencer, for your vulnerability.
Yeah, thanks for opening up, Spencer.
Yeah. Some good comments worth reading. And yeah, so go back and check out that episode. I really like that episode. I think it was a good episode. And yeah, we'll read some more next time for the episode today, which we're getting a little above our heads, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Hey, don't get ahead of yourself, Teddy.
Ahead of ourselves or above our heads? You decide. It's Dynamite Headdy versus Decap Attack.
The episode that everybody was waiting on, I guess. I don't. You can tell we're not at the end yet, but we're almost there because we're getting some of the matchups that nobody asked for.
No one asked for, but had to happen. This one is surprisingly thematically connected by appendages. Why? I do two Sega classics apparently that involve the head throwing. I don't know. Bizarre entries. These are some weird ones, but I'm excited to talk about them today.
Yeah, me too. Me too. These are not games that I've ever considered to be even in my top 50, maybe, Genesis games. So it was interesting to go back and experience them for this episode.
Indeed. So, per usual fashion, we like Alex to go first. So, Alex is going to represent Dynamite Headdy. It's going to be Dynamite. I already know. And then I'm going to do Decap Attack.
Call me Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Because Napoleon Dynamite. All right. Did you know John Heater got paid $1,000 for that movie? Okay, moving on. Dynamite Headdy is a game for the Sega Genesis released. It was released 3 days after me. This game was released on August 5th, 1994. 3 days after I was born. Dynamite Headdy is a platformer developed by Treasure. If you don't know Treasure, they are a treasure, quite literally. They have developed a lot of really unique games for a bunch of different consoles. Usually, they tend to create games that are like boundary pushing for the consoles. I always think of course, Gunstar Heroes is the big one for Genesis. I think of like Sin and Punishment was the N64 game that they did a sequel for on Wii as well. I'm drawing a blank, but they've done a lot of unique games, and Dynamite Headdy is one of those entries. Oh, Mythmakers on the N64. That's the treasure.
I just thought that Mischief Makers.
So yeah, Dynamite. Yeah, that's one too. So yeah, they have a rich history of very unique, very cool games, and this one might be one of their more overlooked titles. Dynamite Headdy. Let's see if there's a. I didn't really get a sense of the story, so I was trying to see if the Wikipedia page had a story synopsis. It doesn't. So you play as Headdy, who is a puppet with a detachable head. Okay, here we go. The story follows Headdy in his adventures to save the world from the evil puppet king Dark Demon, who is transforming all puppets of the world into his evil minions. The game has a very cool thematical, theater theme. There's always like spotlights around and puppets and other things you would see like in that sort of environment. Dynamite Headdy, if I had to describe it, it's a platformer mixed with a shooter, kind of like a Gunstar Heroes. And what I mean by that is you play as Headdy, he can toss his head at enemies, but you also get different abilities, kind of like gun pickups in, say, Gunstar Heroes, where you can have your head do different things, like shoot out 3 different heads, do like a spiral attack, suck all the enemies in like Kirby or something. So there's different things you can do with Headdy's head throughout the game. It's very fast-paced, very action-packed, which is very common for a Treasure game. Most Treasure games I've played seem to have a big emphasis on boss fights, and this game does as well. I only played maybe half of this game, I think, if that. For this episode, but I was impressed by some of the boss fights and how intricate they were and how challenging they were. I think this game is a little jarring when you first start playing it because it just kind of tosses you in and says, okay, you can throw your head to stuff, go. And you're just like, oh shit. you don't really know what's going on at first. It doesn't ease you in like a Sonic or something, It's just like, you're Headdy, you're going. And then you're just like, oh, I guess I'm going. And then, so this game's always been kind of a little unapproachable for me the first few times I've tried playing it throughout the years. But sitting down and playing it for this episode, I actually found myself enjoying it for the most part and having quite a bit of fun. Don't know if it's one that I'll ever go back and want to finish, but it definitely is unique, and I had a good time with it.
Unique it is, and it is a Treasure title, and one thing about Treasure titles is, every one I've played is impressive. I was reading about it from the interview from the recent Nintendo Power video I did. Treasure prides themselves on pushing the hardware to the max, and this one has kind of the Gunstar Heroes visual effects, it feels like, where it's just like a lot of things, a lot of moving parts on screen, and it's really a spectacle to look at. The sound chip is nice as well. I really was impressed playing it, and then at other times I thought it was just like, what the hell is happening? Like I'm playing basketball, like I'm with bumping his head up to shoot baskets in. So there's some adjustments to get used to. I don't think it's like a complicated game, but it almost feels like a lot, like so much is going on screen that it can be difficult to manage. But we'll come back to, pros and cons later.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, an action-packed game. You'll never be bored while playing Dynamite Headdy.
You might be scratching your head, but it'll never come off.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't really have much more to say in terms of like the game's over. The game overall. In terms of this segment, but yeah, Dynamite Headdy, it's a contender. It's here.
You're right. Well, Alex, I take my hat off to you, and I take my head off to you. Why? Because it's being decapped. We're doing Decap Attack, a game for the SEGA Genesis. I'm going to talk and scooch over and grab my phone just so I have all the information up at once. But just to start with an anecdote, when I was collecting SEGA Genesis games back in the day, Decap Attack was really cheap. I bought it. I remember playing it, a decent bit until it got too hard, and I think there was like a spike wall chasing after me at some point. I've never played it up to that point again. It is an interesting game. It is a mummified game. You play as this mummy. I don't have the name up. Maybe you know it, though.
Chuck D. Head.
Chuck D. Head, yeah. A lot of funny puns in this one. Oh, there were also funny puns in Dynamite Headdy. I love Toys in the Hood. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No problem. So Chuck D. Head is exactly as his name was made to be, used. You chuck his head, but you actually have to find it first. There's these little like totem poles as you're platforming, and in one of them is his head, and you can use it to attack enemies. It makes the game a lot easier. Otherwise, you just pump his heart out and attack them. It's a wonky game. It's a lot of I think it's a good Halloween style game to play. You play as like a mummy. It's actually based around a Mega Drive game that was called Magical Hat no Butobi Tabo Daiboken. I don't know what the translation is, but something about adventure with this kid with the magical hat. He actually looks like he's wearing a turban, and this is like a westernized version, so maybe it wouldn't have flied over here. But honestly, that game looks cool too. It basically looks like a color palette swap of this game in some ways, but they're both updates to games from the 80s, Kid Cool and Psycho Fox. Decap Attack is never like the most impressive game I play. I frequently find myself playing for a little bit and I'm going like, oh yeah, it's Decap Attack. He's got floaty mechanics. He can kind of run and float and does like a little almost Yoshi, floating in the air. I usually make it a couple stages in and then kind of just get bored, but it is a unique experience. Thematically, it's pretty cool, and it's got an interesting system. I like the game's mini games. So you finish one world. It's like 3 stages per world. And then you have coins that you've earned from knocking some of the totems off. And you can send a couple chucks on different paths. It's like a Mario Party mini game in order to get new lives. So there's some interesting presentation stuff going on there.
You know what this game always kind of gets... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. The last thing is developers Vic Tokai, kind of a no-name developer, although they did Golgo 13, which we were both like, what the hell is that? But Tyler knows, and came out in September of 1991.
They did Bump and Jump! They did Bump and Jump! Yeah, sorry. Okay. And Columns 3, so that kind of takes them down. Yeah. This game always gave me like a Taito feel, if you kind of know what I mean by that. Like it has like these big, bright, cutesy characters, and it has like kind of a floaty arcade feel to it. Like it always felt like something I would play like in like one of those Taito arcade collections or something. Not really like a game I think of when I think Sega.
But they want you to think of Sega because they always put it on these compilations.
Oh, it's always there. It's one of those games. It's like every time I get one of these damn Sega collections or like the mini consoles or something, it's like, oh, don't forget about Decap Attack. And I'm like, how can I? You never let me.
Just decapitate me, Sega. What are we doing? Seriously, no.
No, it is unique. I like the humor in the game, and some of the like art design and stuff. It is cool to see how much they did translate over from. Yeah, God, I don't have to say the name. Magical Hat no Botubi Tabo Spoken.
Close.
Okay. Well, and I also know Psycho Fox. That's a Master System game, so it's also very similar to that. But yeah, it is cool to see them kind of localize that game to be more of a Halloween horror-ish, not horror, but like spooky themed game, which not maybe is something that we're lacking on the Genesis. I'm not sure. We do have like ghouls and goblins or ghouls or whatever, ghouls and ghosts, but hey, it's a welcome addition.
That it is, and it is a game, and honestly, it's one that I kind of abuse the floating feature in. I like kind of just floating through the stage and kind of just rushing to the end if I'm not going for collecting, as much as I can. So it's playable.
Yeah, it is. It is, by definition, a video game.
You're not wrong there. Well, speaking of video games, all video games have pros and they got cons. So we're going to go into the pros and cons of each. Let's start with yours. Dynamite Headdy. What makes it so dynamite? Pros.
Dynamite. Headdy is, I think you said it, I said it too. It is a treasure game. So by definition, it is stylish right off the bat. It's got its own unique brand of energy going on during the entire game. I love the themes of like the like theater themes and how fast paced it is, how wacky it can be. Just the fact that it is a treasure game guarantees that it has that like treasure flair.
It is definitely a visual spectacle. I think of that roller coaster segment when you're running in. There's all the other little headies behind you. Super cute, and just, I don't know, cool on the screen. Soundtrack, it's not my favorite, but it stands out. And, big bosses, big impressive boss battles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way you can actually have different heads that do different things is cool, and actually does affect the boss fights quite a bit. Sometimes I found in some of the boss scenarios, some of the heads would actually negatively affect you, so you have to kind of strategize which of the heads you need to grab at that moment to take down a certain boss or like enemy.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool mechanic.
It is when it doesn't backfire. Come back to the backfire thing. There's not much I could say like you. I play like a little bit into this game. I think it's impressive, and I think it's cool, and it's different, and it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I think I don't know. That's probably all I have to say for positives, actually.
It's okay. We can blow up on this game. Hit it with a stick of dynamite. What's going on with Dynamite Headdy? What's so common about it?
I think while it is a treasure game and it has the treasure flavor, and maybe it's no fault of its own, to the game itself, but to me, it just gets lost in like a sea of like character-driven games with attitude on the console. Like I think of like, or Sonic. I think of Rice Star. I think of like Rocket Knight. And then I remember all those games before I had Dynamite Headdy. That's my biggest flaw with this game right now, is that it's just not very memorable.
Hell, it's even compared to treasure games on the console, it's no Gunstar Heroes.
Oh, absolutely not. Or they also did Alien, not Storm. That's a beat 'em up.
Syndrome?
Soldier, Alien Soldier, which was European only, but did get released here recently on that like PS4 collection and stuff. And that's a great shooter game, and that's a treasure game. It's really good. So, there's better treasure games on the console.
I think it's so confusing sometimes. I hate that, I'm going for a power up and it sends me to a basketball mini game.
yeah. Again, it's like a kid with a candy, like a sugar rush. It's like it just goes. It just goes. It's like you just start playing and it's like, okay, here we go. We're running, and now you're doing the boss. Get to grab the thing, shoot your head. We're playing basketball. Here we go. And I'm just like, what's going on? And like, again, after you play a couple times, you can pick up on that, but I think it halts all sense of like approachability with the game. It's just like, maybe, you know, if I don't know the game, and I start playing it for the first time, I'm gonna be like, is this like, am I on crack right now? Like, what's happening?
Dude, I was gonna say, you know, like the thing with Super Mario Wonder right now, everyone's like, oh, you know, I wonder if like I could go over there. It's basically, this game is like, I wonder on crack, like what the fuck would happen if like I just hit the power up button. I wonder what I'm supposed to do right now and what's happening. That's me playing this game a lot of the time. I wonder why a giant balloon piloted by a dog underneath the belly has shown up, and I have to hit every part to expose him, and then it just rolls me on a magic carpet through Hollywood.
I have to hit this thing in the leg. What's happening? What is going on? Yeah, it's
take this pipe, smoke it, and then go to the next stage. Hub world. Try every helmet.
And I feel so bad because I do love Treasure. I think they're a great company. But to me, it felt like this game was like, okay, we have to make a character with attitude, but there's already a million of them on the console. So we have to make it stand out. Let's make it the wackiest, craziest game in the world. And by doing so, it's so unfocused to me that it's like, it's not memorable by virtue. You know, I don't want to go back and play it again. It's
one of my lowest points is that boss where you get pulled by like a crane arm and you're getting swung all over the place. And you have to try and hit your head into the center. But meanwhile, you're picking up these power-ups. So one of the power-ups you pick is the goddamn vacuum head. And the vacuum head is completely useless in that segment. So basically sitting there just sucking the whole time until you can get him. I did learn you could drop the power-up, but it was like, what is this segment?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about this game.
I don't know either. I am very confused. It was a confusing game.
You want to move on to Decap Attack?
Sure. Pros?
Okay, what are your positives? Yeah, what are your pros?
Great game to play around Halloween time. I think it's thematic and it's a cheap, like, affordable game. Concept is pretty cool. I like that, like, there's like a menu where you can like use your points to use upgrades. Like it has like an item system. It's different, you know, in that way. That is kind of cool to pick up his skull or his head, and it's just a nice like little bonus in playing the round well. It motivates you to play well, and I kind of like the floaty mechanics, although not always. It can be slippery. I do think it functions well for the most part.
Yeah, I think the game is very appealing visually too. I like the music and the cute style. It is, like you said, like it does have like a Halloween theme to it, but like unlike games like Castlevania or maybe Ghouls and Ghosts, it leans more into being more cute with it. And you know, you're killing like these weird little duck guys and stuff that look like Frankenstein and stuff. You know, it's all kind of cute and cool.
Yeah, rather than dropping blood, they like split the bones, you know? It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like how bouncy some of the platforming is as well. Some of the areas where you have to really go vertical is really cool. And, you know, even sometimes there's like, you have to kind of like really look to see where the platforms are, because sometimes like a platform will be part of a background in a way. And you can be, you know, but like once you get used to it, it is fun to kind of bounce around and use like the more floaty mechanics of Chuck and to get around that way. Yeah, it's good at platforming.
Agreed. And a little mini game. That's about it, though. We can just jump into cons.
Yeah, negatives. You want? Yeah.
It's not that I have anything that's like so heinous about it. I don't think it's like anything's awful in this game, but I do think it's a bit bare bones. Not to be you know punny, but it's simple comparatively to Treasure. I'm not like this is like this doesn't blow me out of the water playing it.
I think this is the opposite of Dynamite Headdy. The opposite problem. I think while Dynamite Headdy has too much going on, Decap Attack, the levels have nothing going on. And while I do praise the way the platforming feels, and it can be fun. What is this level design? What are the levels? I don't remember any of the like. I can't like tell you. Hey, do you remember the level in Decap Attack where blank happens? Because it feels like every level is the same fucking thing for the most part. You know, with the odd exception here or there. It's like, you know, and also I don't like how like there's certain levels where you have to get collectibles, and I don't know, like doing that. The level designs don't feel tailor made for that either. So that's my biggest flaw with the game is the level designs and just the lack of interest I think the game has in itself.
No, I agree with you. I think it's dull. Like, I don't get excited going through this game. You know, you're right. It's just like the duck with the arrow on the head. Great. You know, another one of those stupid things. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, there's the silly wolf. That's cool.
You know, the treasure has those big bad bosses, you know, big scenes, and then the first boss in this one is like a little shaman, like belly drumming, you know?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the opposite problem where like Decap Attack feels like the developers were on crack while they were making it, and like you just can't keep up with it.
Dynamite Headdy.
Dynamite Headdy feels like that. Decap Attack is the opposite problem where I'm like, did they know they had to develop a game? Like, did they have to like put things in here to happen? Like, and like, because nothing's happening. Like, I'm just okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I think I'm ready to throw down. Are you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and like we said, they never fucking leave this thing out of the goddamn collections and shit. Why, Sega? Stop! We don't want to play this.
We've been getting it for 3 console generations on the PS2, SEGA Genesis classics. On the, I think I'm not even sure, but I'm pretty sure it was there on the Sonic Ultimate collection on PS3 and Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One. Come on.
Did you wait PS5? It's your turn next. We're
the only
coming
reason
for you.
It's a classic is because you've put it on every single goddamn thing.
Yeah, it's like filler. It's like they're just like, oh yeah, Decap Attack goes on there too. Like, there's like one guy that likes it.
Decap that one from the collection. But anyways, we should throw it down before we get too negative on this game.
All right, let's throw it down. 3, 2, 1.
Dynamite
Headdy.
Yeah.
By the fault of Decap Attack being so goddamn boring of a game.
Yeah.
Dynamite Headdy gets it. I don't care for Dynamite Headdy that much either. I think this is going out the next round, whatever it's up against, we'll see. But my god, at least something's happening. I'm playing that game.
Yeah, Dynamite Headdy, at least I'm like super engaged during, even if it's really hard at some points, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I can avoid those basketball segments, and I could play it smart and also avoid some of those pickups, in the boss battles. And it is so creative, and I think that's just what I like about it, is that's never a dull moment.
Yeah. Dynamite Headdy to me, I think, has potential. I think, like, if they were to do a sequel or follow-up of some sort, or like just expand upon the ideas, I think there is a good foundation there with that game. With Decap Attack, I don't want to play more. I don't want to play a sequel. I was like, I don't want to see what else they can do because they barely do anything with it themselves.
Right. We already canned it, so I don't mind doing the comparison. But Rystar feels like similar in a way, like this kind of like out there, platformer. And I think Dynamite Headdy just like feels more realized, I guess. So I would be more excited to play through Dynamite Headdy than I would a game like Rystar or a game like Decap Attack.
I can see that. I think I might lean towards Raystar a little more than Dynamite Headdy, but because I don't know, it does it feels a little more chilled out. But we'll see. Did Raystar make it? I forget. What was
No,
Raystar up
Comic
against?
Zone one.
Oh yeah, well of course, yeah, Comic Zone. Yeah, goddamn, Comic Zone fucking slaughtered him. But yeah, I think I probably would if we did Rystar versus Dynamite Headdy for this episode, I probably would have leaned towards Rystar because I think Rystar, while they're both out there, and I think Rystar is just I can understand what's happening most of the time in Rystar. Where Dynamite Headdy, again, I feel like it's just the game's running 2 times faster than I am.
Quick, throw your head against the wall. Whoa.
What? But yeah, we'll see what it goes up against and if it can make it any further.
Heads will roll in the next competition.
Sorry, Decap Attack. I'm not that sorry. I don't like that game.
You can go back to your grave and rest in peace.
Yeah, Wise from your grave? I don't think so.
Damn, I forgot that's even a selection we haven't even tackled.
Yeah, dude, we haven't done Altered Beast yet.
That's something.
We just gotta talk about Altered Beast at some point.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But you may be excited for the next one. It's an RPG, Spencer. We will be doing the RPGs that you've been waiting for. That's right. The ones on the SEGA Genesis classics.
Wait. Can I grab mine? Can I go grab mine?
Go grab it. Go grab the esteemed RPG of the SEGA Genesis. Just so you can show it to the audience. They're not ready for this. They don't know what's coming. They don't know how good RPGs on that console actually are. Not until they played games like the one that Alex is going to show now. Alex, go ahead and show the viewers the first of the RPGs that we will be doing the Turbo Throwdown for. This
is my game for the next episode. Fatal Labyrinth.
That's the #1 RPG on the SEGA Genesis. But wait, there's another one that it will be going up against, and my battery is literally about to die, so I'm going to say it before it does. Shining in the Darkness, everyone's favorite Shining game. That's right.
Yeah, we're doing the throwaway RPG episode next.
Listen, we got
I got the manual
throwdowns to go. So of the RPGs.
Oh, dude, Brian sent me this copy. I have a little card in here from Brian. I left in the box. It says, Alex, happy 28th birthday. Sorry this is late. I hope you enjoy. Papa Brian. P.S. I think you said you were 28. Sorry if you are not. I was 28. So thank you, Brian.
Timestamp included. Well, listen, I got 13 minutes left on my battery. Any final words for the viewer?
Let us know in the comments if you would have killed Dynamite Headdy, or if we did the right thing by decapping Chuck. And are you excited about Fatal Labyrinth? Because I know I am. I'm the one guy.
Excellent. And listen, even at the end of every tunnel, there's a little light shining in the darkness. We'll see you there.
Turbo Throwdown. Hell yeah.